The time is now 6 p.m. Our regular City Council meeting for September 6, 2022 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Whitaker will lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas.
Let us pray. Dear Father, you created all things, and because of your will, they existed and were created. Everything that is created by you is good. Each person has been created in your own image and is precious to you. May we too see your creation as precious. May we remember that our resources are a gift from you. May we remember that we were all made in your image and are worthy of respect and dignity. Be with us this evening as we address city business. Help us to be good stewards of our resources and to be mindful of the people we serve in the city of Schertz. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Whitaker. We have a couple of proclamations, so I'll step down to the bottom there. Our first proclamation is a payroll, a National Payroll Week. So if I can please have the individuals up here. Thank you for joining us here. Right over here. I'm doing fine. How about you? The City of Schertz Proclamation, National Payroll Week, September 5th through September 9th, 2022. Whereas the American Payroll Association and its more than 20,000 members have launched a nationwide public awareness campaign that pays tribute to the nearly 150 million people who work in the United States and the payroll professionals who support the American system by paying wages, reporting worker earnings, and withholding federal employment taxes. Whereas the payroll professionals in the city of Schertz, Texas, play a key role in maintaining the economic health of the city of Schertz, carrying out such diverse tasks as paying into the unemployment insurance system, providing information for child support enforcement, and carrying out tax withholding, reporting, and depositing. Whereas payroll departments collectively spend more than $2.4 trillion annually complying with federal and state wages and tax laws. Whereas payroll professionals play an increasingly important role in ensuring the economic security of the American family by helping to identify non-custodial parents and making sure they comply with their child support mandates. Whereas payroll professionals have become increasingly proactive in educating both the business community and the public at large about the payroll tax withholding system. Whereas payroll professionals meet regularly with federal and state officials to discuss both improving compliance with government procedures and how compliance can be achieved at a less cost to both the government and businesses. Now, therefore, I, Ralph Gutierrez, Mayor for the City of Schertz, recognize September 5th through September 9th, 2022 as National Payroll Week and call upon all citizens of the City of Schertz to recognize the hard work and efforts of the people who work as payroll professionals. Thank you all, ladies, so much. Would you like to say a few words, please?
Thank you so much for taking the time to recognize the very hardworking professionals in the payroll community here in Schertz and San Antonio and the surrounding areas. These folks work on holidays, they work late, and for them, failure is never an option. So we really appreciate you recognizing them, calling them out, and appreciating what they do. So thank you very much.
We are so grateful every other week, I believe, right? Thank you so much for all your hard work. Next, National Preparedness Month, this summer. The City of Schertz Proclamation, National Preparedness Month, September 2022. Whereas the National Preparedness Month is observed every September to raise awareness about the importance of preparing for disasters and emergencies that could happen at any time. Whereas the theme of this year's National Preparedness Month is, "The life we build is worth protecting. Prepare for disasters to create a lasting legacy for you and your family." Whereas the City of Schertz will host a Get Peppered block party at the Municipal Complex on Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Whereas the National Preparedness Month creates an important opportunity for the Schertz community to focus on preparing its homes, businesses, churches, schools, and institutions for any type of emergency, including natural or man-made disasters and accidents. Whereas investing in preparedness can reduce fatalities, prevent physical and economic damage, and aid in the acceleration of recovery after events in our community. Whereas the City of Schertz Office of Emergency Management encourages all community members to be informed, make a plan, build a kit, and get involved in preparedness activities. Now, therefore, I, Ralph Gutierrez, Mayor for the City of Schertz, do hereby proclaim September 2022 as Preparedness Month in the City of Schertz, and encourage all residents, businesses, organizations, and families to develop their own emergency plan and work together towards creating a more prepared and resilient community. Ms. Summer?
So as the mayor said, we are offering a get prepped, like the preppers, kind of in the zombie approach. We were trying to be clever. Anyway, Get Prepped event on Saturday, September 24th. And so this is going to be a festival style. It's going to encourage some of the vendors from around the community that have products and services that are important for our disaster preparedness and recovery to come out and be part of the overall event. We'll have a kids activity area. We'll have static displays with some of our emergency response equipment. And in addition to that, have some prizes and giveaways and raffles that are all related to preparedness. So we invite you all to come out and be part of that. And if you have any local businesses that would be interested in participating, please send them to the Office of Emergency Management and we'll get them hooked up. Additionally, we kicked off the social media campaign. And so we encourage you to follow that campaign as the month passes and make sure that you are doing small things to prepare you and your family. Each month we do a 10 minutes to preparedness in the Schertz magazine and online, and we ask that you just take a few minutes every month to be more prepared for disasters. It can be small things like making a plan for your family, to bigger things when you are looking for, setting that savings aside and increasing homeowners insurance based on the value of your home to make sure that you are properly insured if a disaster were to occur and damage your home. So all of those things are really important, and if you'll follow along with our program, then we'll help you make small steps to be more prepared overall. So thank you, and we hope you join us on Saturday, September 24th. Thanks.
All right, we'll continue with employee recognition, new staff members that will be introduced. First, we have inspections.
Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown. My name is Will Dalrymple. I'm the Plans Examiner in the Inspections Department, and we're here tonight to introduce our newest permit technician, Delfina Melendez. She's originally from Del Rio, Texas. She moved here with her family in 2013, where she started her career in the medical field. Prior to working for the City of Schertz, she worked as a medical biller and coder for the last 7 years, and she's excited on her new learning opportunities outside of the medical field. She says she enjoys getting together with her family, cooking, and traveling.
Hello, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited for the new opportunity with the City of Schertz. Thank you.
Welcome to our team. Next, we have library.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Dr. Brown. My name is Melissa Yulhorn. I'm the Library Director, and I'm here tonight to introduce our newest employee, Stephanie Barbosa. She is our new Virtual Services Librarian. She's responsible for basically all of our virtual and digital resources at the library. She oversees that part of our work. She's originally from McAllen, Texas. She moved to San Antonio when she was about 11 years old and has been in this area since then. She received her bachelor's in English from UTSA in 2013 and then worked on her master's of library and information science at UNT. She comes to us with experience in other libraries. She worked at the San Antonio Public Library System. She's worked at Bibliotech Library in San Antonio, and most recently at the library at UTSA. So she comes to us with some experience. She lives right now in the Windcrest area of San Antonio with her fiance, George Wynn, and her 2 dogs, Scarlett and Clementine, is that correct? And she has a cat named Lilu, which I'm hoping is a Fifth Element, is a Fifth Element reference. But George and Stephanie are actually getting married this month on the 17th, so kudos to her for trying to plan a wedding and get that done and a new job all in the same time. She has lots of hobbies, she says, but her newest passion is ceramics, and she actually has a little pottery studio in her house now. She also loves cooking and baking, visiting coffee shops, traveling, and paddleboarding. So welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve this awesome community. I'm excited.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your wedding and welcome to our team.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Council. I'm here tonight to introduce our new administrative assistant for the Parks and Recreation Department, Miss Lexis Michael. I don't know if you know, but Annalise Miranda, our previous administrative assistant, was promoted to event specialist, so Lexis is taking her place. She was born and raised in Loveland, Colorado, and you know she's from Colorado because she pronounces it Colorado. She spent most of her time there hiking through the trails all throughout the northern foothills by her house. She moved to Texas after she graduated high school. She previously worked for the city of New Braunfels. She was a recreation instructor for 2.5 years, and then she was the camp coordinator for Camp Minnehaha this past summer. She is currently getting her associates in business administration at Northeast Lakeview College. She's graduating this December, and she'll go on to complete her bachelor's in accounting online, the Metropolitan State University of Denver. And then she wants to continue on and get her master's in business management. She grew up in a big family. She has 3 older siblings and a younger sister, and she enjoys tennis and dirt bike riding, though she has here in parentheses, I'm not very good at either. I don't know that that's true. Welcome, Lexis.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Hello, as you may know, my name is Lexi. I'd like to start off by thanking you for your time today and tell you how excited I am to serve the city of Schertz. I am stoked to see the good influence that we will continue to have on the city, as well as telling you that I appreciate all that you do for the city. Thank you.
Welcome to our team. Next, we have Public Works, Drainage.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown. I'd like to introduce our newest member to Drainage, William Lewis III, a.k.a. Buddy, that's his nickname. He has family pets. His favorite is his dog, Lacey. His first job he ever worked was at Walmart. Not sure what he did there, but... Okay. His favorite part of this job right now so far is the working environment that he's in. He likes everybody he's working with. His favorite holiday, Thanksgiving, because he enjoys all the food, which his favorite pastime, he likes to get out and ride motorcycles. His favorite sport team is the Texas Rangers. His dream vacation is going to Japan. His favorite class in school was history, and his favorite way to relax is to watch TV, sit back and enjoy. Mr. William Lewis.
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to work for y'all. It's been a very learning experience since I've never really done anything in.
No, we can't hear you that way.
I say it's a pleasure for y'all to allow me to come work for y'all. A very learning experience considering I've never actually had any heavy construction experience. It's a great opportunity to learn, and I would like to thank you for allowing the opportunity.
Well, welcome to our team. And next we have Public Works, Water.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown. I am delighted to introduce Desiree Johnson to you this evening. She is our newest administrative manager. She has already, in her short tenure here, began to fill a void that I am so thankful that she is filling in here. She has 2 dogs, Dexter and Margarita. She, when asked what her favorite hobby was, she said that was kind of a difficult question because she couldn't pick just one. She likes hiking, fishing, hunting, traveling, and camping was the top of her list, which fits because her dream vacation is to tour South America. She, so far, her favorite thing about her job is her colleagues. And I can tell you she's already also, though, started a little strife in the office because her favorite sport is football. And I told her I wouldn't mention it, but she's a Packers fan. Welcome, Desiree.
First of all, I wanted to thank the city for all the warm welcomes and the opportunity to work with such a great team. Second, I wanted to thank my Public Works family who have made this transition as smooth as possible. My department, as well as other departments, are great, but Suzanne, Scott, McCullough, they've all just made this a really great environment and great experience for me. So I'm really grateful for that. I look forward to meeting more of you, making more connections, and becoming and remaining a valued asset to my team and the wonderful city of Schertz. So thank you.
Welcome, welcome to our team. Ms. Williams, if you can just pass along our appreciation to Mr. Rodriguez. We understand he's working on a water main break, and that's why he's not joining us today.
Here right now, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next, we have Public Works Facilities.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown. My name is John Wolst. I'm the facilities manager for the city, and I'd like to introduce our newest member of the facilities team, Dylan Sandberg. He's our new electrical apprentice. He's coming to us from Ross Electric in San Antonio. He's got 4 siblings and a dog named Yogi. His favorite sport is basketball, specifically the Golden State Warriors, but we're trying to change that to UTSA football, as it should be. And his hobbies include video games and basketball. And we're definitely very happy to be for him to be on the team, and he definitely happened helping Thomas with his very demanding duties.
Thank you all so much for the opportunity. I'll try to do my best to help out with the city and fixing any issues that we have electrically. Thank you.
Welcome to our team. We'll move on to city events and announcements. Announcements of upcoming events. Mr. James.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a bunch. Just to let folks know, this Thursday, September 8th, from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. is the Northeast Partnership Meeting. That's at the Olympia Hills Golf and Conference Center, 12900 Mount Olympus in Universal City. Friday, September 9th, there's a blood drive from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is for Gunnar, who is the grandson, many of you will remember, Johnny Beerswall, of Johnny and Donna Beerswall. That's going to be at the Bluebonnet Palace, 17630 Lookout Road, in their parking lot. Gunnar is battling aplastic anemia and needs blood platelet transfusion. So again, that's at the Bluebonnet Palace, Friday from 9 to 1. Have a few parks items on Saturday, September 10th, the Nature Discovery Series from 10 to 11 a.m. at Crescent Bend Nature Park. And then we also have Paws in the Pool, where you can let your dog swim in the pool. 2 sessions, 12 to 2 p.m. and 2 to 4 p.m. at Pickerel Park, and you can find more info about signing up on the park's website. Our next regular council meeting is September 13th here in Council Chambers at 6 p.m. We have a full weekend on Saturday, September 24th. The Community Car Seat Check event, that's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at the Schertz Playscape over by the library. And then the Get Prepped event that Summer mentioned, the Emergency Management Block Party, that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here in the Schertz Municipal Complex. And then also Wednesday, September 28th, SCUC ISD is holding their Legislative Advocacy Luncheon. That's at 11:30 a.m. at the SCUC ISD Boardroom in the central office at 1060 L Bell. If council members want to attend, they can respond through the city secretary.
Thank you, Mr. James. Announcements and the recognitions by our city manager. Dr. Brown?
Yes, Mayor, I have a few tonight. First, I neglected to mention at our last meeting that our Caterpillar Bowl team, the Chamber Bowling event, finished 3rd place among all the teams, so they did a great job. Some of the members are here tonight, including Brian James and James Walters sitting over there. Renee from accounting. Jessica Kurz, I think Jessica's back there, and Lisa Wood. So they did a great job. Also, I wanted to recognize last week the retirement of Harry Hewlett. Harry spent 35 years in the fire department, so he did a fantastic job, and we will certainly miss Harry. And finally, I wanted to recognize our Employee Appreciation Committee for a great waffle breakfast they put on a week or so ago, and they just did a fantastic job. Everybody had a great time. The mayor actually helped serve as well. And that committee, led by Jessica Kurz and our HR folks and other departments as well, just do a fantastic job, and everybody has a great time at all their events. So kudos to them. And that's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Dr. Brown. Announcements and recognitions by the mayor. I do have one announcement. And we have one staff member that never says anything, and we forgot all about him. That's Mador. September 1st was actually National Police K-9 Appreciation, and every individual is a part of our staff, and please, let's give him extra treats this week. He deserves them. All right, we'll move on. Next is the hearing the residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the City Council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. We have no one that signed up, so we'll move on to consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by City Council. Item number 1, resolution number 22R91, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a task order agreement with Kimberly Horn Associated Incorporated for professional engineering and architectural related services on the Main Street Improvement Project and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 2, resolution number 22R92, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing an application for the Community Coalition Partnership COVID-19 grant from San Antonio Council of Alcohol and Drug Awareness and receive funds if awarded in the amount of $100,000 to purchase shade structure for Cypress Point Park and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 3, resolution number 22R93, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a wastewater easement agreement with San Antonio 1 Limited Partners and San Antonio 3 Limited Partners related to the existing wastewater main and authorizing the budget expenditures for the project. Mayor Pro Tem, could you please read the remaining consent items?
Yes. Resolution number 22R97. Resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, approving request for the Schertz Main Street Local Flavor Economic Development Grant for 817 Main Street in the City of Schertz, Texas, and related matters in connection therewith. Resolution number 22R100. A resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a license agreement with PV Schertz, LLC in the City of Schertz, Texas, and related matters in connection therewith. Resolution number 22R94, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing an agreement for this management services between the City of Schertz and the Schertz-Seguin Local Government Corporation and other matters in connection therewith.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, is there any of these items that need to be pulled for separate action?
Mayor, I need to make a correction. That's resolution number 22R101.
Okay, for item
number 5. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to pull number 1, please.
Okay, number 1. Council, any others? Okay. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 2 through 6?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Dalla and second by Councilmember Brown. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. So we'll move back on to number 1, item number 1. Resolution number 22R91, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a task order agreement with Kimberly Horn Associated Incorporated for professional engineering and architecture-related services on the Main Street Improvement Project and other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Scagliola, you had questions.
Yeah, according to the consent agenda item, in order to place something on a consent agenda, it should be self-explanatory. 30 pages worth of information, to me, is not self-explanatory. I read in here that there's $34,000 being allocated for council and public town hall type briefings and whatnot. I think it'd be really appropriate to actually present some of that before we ask to increase charges of $70,000 to almost $2.2 million. That's a big jump, you know, and like I said, it isn't self-explanatory. Unless there's a real crisis or an immediacy to approving this today, I suggest we put it as a discussion item further down the road, as opposed to putting it here on the consent agenda. That's my take. 6th of
Council,
September, 2022.
Any other comments, Council? Councilmember Davis?
No, we've talked about Main Street time and time again, and this is the implementation of a bond that was an initial bond that was approved, I believe, in 2010. And we're 12 years into this. And I remember when I first got on council, one of the first things I asked was, I saw several bonds that were approved at the same time that we were working our way through, and I said, what about Main Street? You know, how long are we going to keep on kicking this can down the road? We've already seen the impact of this localized development in our surrounding communities. You can see the redevelopment and the activities that are going on in Universal City. You can see the activities and the residential support that's going on in Cibolo. You can see the you read the papers, you can read about how popular those things are. We've been battling this Main Street issue forever, and have very carefully stepped through this over the past 3-4 years so. I honestly, I wish we didn't have to spend some of the money that we have to spend on Main Street. But it makes no sense to make Band-Aid physical improvements and not take care of the infrastructure that's down there. It's no different from the infrastructure in any other community or any other neighborhood that we have in the city. It's long overdue, and we've already had these discussions, and to delay it again and again and again just means that Main Street and the development of a section of the city of Schertz that's been neglected for an extremely long time gets neglected longer, and I just don't think it's reasonable.
Councilmember Whitaker.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This item, it seemed to me, at first glance, I thought the same thing, like, wow, that's a big jump, but then I kind of read through it. So my understanding is all the different line items have already been individually discussed at other times, and we're just assigning the, is it the contract? I mean, the wording is a little bit different, professional services contract.
Right. Essentially, this is the contract for this is the updated contract for the design work for Main Street. So you may recall we engaged Kimberly Horn. We started out with one program where at the time we were going to do kind of a mill and overlay. We weren't looking at undergrounding the overhead lines. We weren't looking at replacing the water sewer lines. As we got into it and we ran into the various challenges that we've talked about at the Main Street Committee meetings, I think as Councilman Davis said, the committee said, look, if we're going to do this thing, let's do it right. Let's not put lipstick on a pig. Let's not leave substandard infrastructure that hasn't been fixed in how many decades. And so the idea then, per that, was to go back, modify the scope, get them on board to do all those other items. And so essentially it's increasing from what the prior scope had been. Again, as we work through this with them, there are some things that we can choose to taper back or scale back. But obviously one of the things, as you mentioned, is reaching out to the businesses on Main Street and saying, how is this project going to affect you as we go under construction, as we have the design done, and we know kind of what happens with some curbs and sidewalk and things like that. There's an element of that. So yeah, I think from a staff perspective, this is staff modifying Kimberly Horn's agreement based on the fact that we looked at this thing and said, if we're going to do it, let's do it right and be done with it and not have to go back. And again, much of this, I think, is it's infrastructure that just needs to be upgraded anyway, and rather than go through and redo the street and then a year later have the water line break and do damage to that, let's do that with this project. So that's really what it is.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that, again, we've kind of hit all of these issues, whether it was at a Main Street Committee meeting or we discussed them with various items up here. So the way I read this is we've kind of already gone through that, and this is the culmination of that, and we have to assign the contract. My only comment is that if we're going to invest $2 million, we're going to move forward. So I'm hoping that this is the last, if we approve this, there should be no more discussion about if, but that we are, and we need to keep moving forward.
We agree with you entirely.
Okay.
Point well taken. So yeah, this should be the last time this group sees us. We'll keep the Main Street Committee updated, keep it moving, get the design done. And then the next thing you'll see should be, once we put it out to bid, put it out different sections of bids to approve the awarding of those contracts. But we'll work through the Main Street Committee on the fine tuning of the details of what it looks like, feels like, et cetera.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. I fully concur with Councilman Davis on this. You know, as you look at the background here, this is Main Street bond from 2012. All right, that's 10 years ago, this project was approved. Yes, it's grown some, but as Mr. James says, it has grown because it needed to, not because we wanted it to. There's good factors there with the infrastructure upgrades that we're going to put new sewers in sometime. Let's do it all at one time. Make it all look good. Why should we put in a new road only to dig it up piece by piece by piece over the next 5 years? So it makes sense financially to go with a little bit bigger project going in, and it also makes sense to get this thing moving and truly moving so that it makes some looks and differences downtown. I mean, we keep, as Councilman Davis says, keep kicking it down the road. At some point, it's not going to make any difference because we're going to be working on it anyway. So,
Council, any other comments? Well, Councilmember Scagliola has brought this to our attention, but he didn't phrase it in a form of a motion. Would I consider that a motion, Dr. Scagliola?
You know what, I'm sure I'll have ample opportunity to talk about this Main Street, not to belabor the point, you know, I'm not a big fan of throwing a lot of money at something. And I believe the bond back in 2012 was for $1 million for Main Street. Okay, how many millions of dollars are we going to spend in order to satisfy that bond? You know, that $1 million is going a real long, long way, right up to the point of about $13 million at last count. You know what we could do with $13 million? We could build a bridge over 78 from 3009. I'm pretty sure for, well, okay, 15 billion?
No.
Yeah, down payment.
We're a long way up on that one, Councilman.
Another item.
I mean that. I don't mean that in a mocking way. Point well taken. It's an opportunity cost. Again, I think we've talked about this, as Councilman Davis said, on a number of occasions before. You know, our community is growing, and from a staff perspective, one of the things we hear about is how we maintain that sense of community, how we have those local businesses, a place for them to go. We're not a county seat, so we don't have a square. Our Main Street is what we've got. I think we've seen the activity that's come about from it, and there you are.
And the thing is, I am not opposed to fixing the drainage or the utilities on Main Street. I think there are a lot of other streets in the city that could use just as much work. But, hey, you want to spend $3.something million to do that, I'm all for it. Going further down the road, yeah, I hate to evoke Nietzsche and whatnot, but, you know, sometimes when you see something falling, you ought to give it a push. I don't believe in the Main Street project. I'll come right out and say that. I think it's a fool's errand, a pipe dream, and if it was meant to be, then it would be. You know, if you build it, they will come. That's my theory. Okay, so put the infrastructure in there and let it be built, but not at the expense of the city. That's all I have. But if you want to go forward with this, you've heard my take.
Okay. All right, it was not formed in a motion type request, so is there a motion to approve resolution number 22R91?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made by Councilmember Davis, second by Councilmember Brown. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, 1 objection, motion passes. We'll move on to item number 7, ordinance number 22D38. An ordinance by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, providing that the Code of Ordinances of the City of Schertz, Texas be amended by revising Article 5, Section 86-39, restrictions on turning, and providing an effective date. Ms. Woodley?
I want to make sure I make everything clear. All right, thanks everyone for your patience. Mayor, Council, Kathy Woodley, City Engineer. We had some staff members observe that there are folks making U-turns at this intersection of Schertz Parkway and Prairie Lane. When we looked into it a little more, it became apparent that most of the time these U-turns are for folks who are lining up in the morning wanting to turn left on Schertz Parkway, going north, probably wanting to drop their kids off, and there's quite a backup at that light. So in order to circumvent that, there's less of a backup coming from the north toward the south. Folks would go through that intersection up here to Prairie Lane, make a U-turn and come back down. It is not safe to make that U-turn. Texas state law does not prohibit U-turns. U-turns are by right legal as long as they can be made safely. We determined that U-turns cannot be made safely in this situation because of sight distance and because the median is not wide enough to let someone to make the maneuver without getting into a lane outside the space where they should be driving. So we did take it to TSAC. TSAC did request that we go ahead and recommend that the ordinance be passed for no U-turns in either direction, which is actually prudent. We didn't really notice that folks were making the U-turn in the other direction, but belts and suspenders, we're recommending that the ordinance be adopted to place signs and make it explicitly illegal for U-turns to be made in either direction at that intersection.
Thank you, Ms. Woodley. Council, questions? Councilmember Brown.
Just a quick comment. As somebody that drives an F-150 and has made that U-turn numerous times, I know that you can't make it in one turn. Okay? And I will agree that whenever it's busy out there, it's not a good decision to make. And I see a lot of people doing that all the time. And it isn't the little cars that are a problem. It's all of us truck drivers and Suburbans and et cetera, all the moms that are out there in the morning and whatnot. And I do see that every day. And it's not going to get any better with the coffee shop there. I agree.
Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, being human nature being what it is, people are still going to try to attempt it. So what other recourse do they have? They don't want to sit through the light. What are their options? What are they going to do instead?
Right turn.
Wait through several cycles of light.
Wait through several cycles of light.
During the periods when there is a backup, which often seems like an incredible amount of time when in the middle of it, but generally I think the area clears within 20 to 30 minutes, I would say, from what we've seen. And so it does seem like a long time, but there are not other good options.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is this a school-related problem? Traffic flow problem?
Can I say something? I live there, and I know other people live in that general area there. The school probably makes it worse, okay, during that 20, 30 minutes in the morning, but it is an issue throughout the day because I see people trying to make that turn at 2 o'clock in the afternoon as well as 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, and it's a convenient place. Oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, I forgot to turn the water off or whatever. You know, it's a quick and easy place to turn. Otherwise, you have to go up basically to the bank to make that U-turn and make it safely.
Yeah, I just hate the idea of thinking we're fixing a problem when we've just created another problem somewhere else. So, nothing I can do about it tonight. That's all I have, sir.
Council, any other comments? No, Dr. Scagliola did bring an interesting point. Are we creating another problem in the morning during school? So we'll have to take a closer look at it. Because I see them taking right turns and then making a U-turn somewhere down the Savannah Square to come back in. Yeah.
So that's certainly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would think so. I mean, I guess what I'd say, Mayor, is, you know, since I've worked here, we've had this issue at various times to varying degrees around the elementary school as Councilman Brown said, it happens at other times of the day, and I think then it's more of a convenience issue. I forgot something, want to turn around, don't want to go back. They're making that U-turn. But what I think is happening in those peak times in morning and afternoon is, yeah, you get people who are avoiding cars that stack up here significantly and that stack up here. And I guess I have a slightly different take, which, yeah, what we want is we want you to just sort of stay in line with everybody else and not to imply this, but not come around here, make this U-turn and cut in line to get ahead of other folks. So if the issue is, and I'm not sure there's a great solution, but it really is to look at the signal timing of that light and try to move through. But again, it's not a typical intersection where folks are moving beyond. Part of what we have is it's the operations of the elementary school and their ability just to move cars in and out through there as well. You know, it was interesting when we were looking at some unrelated traffic stuff, we had cars in the afternoon pickup that were stacked all the way around back to here. I think it caught staff off guard even that we have that many people coming to get kids. And so, you know, Mayor, I'm not sure this is one there's anything we can do. I know we've worked with the school district. We've talked about it at times. I think from my perspective, we just need people to kind of stay in line and work their way through and be patient with one another. You know, we'll keep seeing if we can tweak it. I'm just not sure a lot can be done if that helps. So I don't want to give a false sense that, yeah, we're going to find some solution.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to create something else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But safety is our main concern, and I think this is the proper way to address this one here.
And I think that's why we want folks just to stay in line, to pick up and drop off, and not go maneuvering around neighborhoods. I'm not sure that's helpful either.
And one more question. For the benefit of those watching on YouTube, what is the effective date of the actual ordinance?
So it will be effective after second reading, which will be next week.
Okay.
So as soon as you sign the ordinance.
And then we'll post a no U-turn as well.
Right.
We'll start issuing tickets. But typically, again, PD doesn't issue tickets the first week it's a change. They start giving warnings, AJ and folks, give it a week or so, and then once folks.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 22D38?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilmember Whitaker and second by Mayor Pro Temp Hayward. Any other questions? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to item number 8, resolution number 22R103, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, establishing the name of the currently unnamed future expansion of Cibolo Valley Drive on the north side of IH-35 as Cibolo Valley Drive. Ms. Woodley, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an item that council did refer to TSAC to make a recommendation for the naming of the future street that you can see here will be on the opposite side of 35 from the existing Cibolo Valley Drive. This segment of Cibolo Valley Drive used to be Old Wiederstein Road, and it does cross 35, and it will be extended. So TSAC did discuss the naming and did recommend, they voted 4-2 to recommend Cibolo Valley Drive so that it will be consistent. If you so choose to adopt that, it will be consistent with the other side of 35.
Thank you, Ms. Woodley. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Hayward.
I'm going to push for one more time to do Eric White Road. I think that street, I get the idea of Cibolo Valley, but that's not going into Cibolo, that's away from Cibolo. And I think he's done a lot for the city in the years that he was alive and helping out. And I just think, and it's kind of in that vicinity of where Garden Ridge is, and so I'm going to make one more push for Eric White and not Cibolo Valley.
Councilmember
Making a motion.
You're making a motion?
To name it Eric White Road.
Is there I'll come back to see if we can second it. Dr. Scagliola.
Procedurally, she made a motion. It should either be seconded or not.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it so we can just vote
Okay.
on it.
There's a second on that motion. Okay, there's additional comments. Dr. Scagliola.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've been sounding a little bit cranky today, and here's one I can actually get enthusiastic about and embrace it. Cibolo Valley is historic. This entire region out here is named Cibolo Valley. Yeah, okay, coincidentally, the city of Cibolo exists, but the road itself, gives credit to the founders who named this entire region Cibolo Valley, and that's why I approved the renaming of it. I was kind of happy to see that TSAC saw it that way as well. That's all I have, sir.
Councilmember Davis.
Yeah, I look at it from a public safety and a transportation issue. You're coming down 35, heading north or south, and how many different named roads do we have to have? To me, it makes more sense just to continue the Cibolo Valley Drive as far as the signage on 35 goes. This is not to acknowledge the contributions of Mr. White, but if you look at the map in front of you, there are several other roads that don't exist at this point that would have that opportunity to pay homage to Mr. White or somebody else in the community if we want to name a road through our city process in the future. To me, Cibolo Valley Drive just makes sense. It's already Cibolo Valley Drive on the other side. Keep it going so it goes all the way up and connects. It's one major thoroughfare then. And it's going to be less confusing for everybody getting around.
Councilmember Brown.
I agree, just consistency in the naming, especially off of 35 like that. It just makes a little bit more sense. And I also concur that, Mr. White was a great asset to the community. He did a lot of great things for the community. But remember, this road was also recommended to be another name from our city's past as well. And we went with the historical geographic Cibolo Valley Road I think it's a good name for it going forward.
Okay. Any other comments? There is a motion on the floor, a resolution number 22R103 to change it from Cibolo Valley Drive to Eric White. Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward and second by Councilmember Dalla. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
Nay.
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 Motion does not pass. That was 4-2. Am I correct? 5-1. 5-1. 5-1. Okay, is there another motion to approve resolution number 22R103?
So moved.
As stands.
22R103 to name the proposed new road on the other side of 35 to be Cibolo Valley Drive.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilmember Davis, second by Councilmember Scagliola. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, 1 objection, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Woodley. All right, we'll move on. We have a public hearing here. Okay. Item number 9, ordinance number 22T30. An ordinance adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023, in accordance with the charter of the City of Schertz, Texas, providing for the filing of the budget, providing that this ordinance shall be cumulative of all ordinances, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date. Mr. Walters, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is James Walters. I'm the Finance Director for the City of Schertz. Tonight before you, we have the first reading of the budget adoption ordinance and the first vote, and the next item will be on the tax rate and its first vote. I'll start with the tax rate overview. They're both items are kind of linked. So property taxes for 2021 for the city of Schertz is actually the smaller teal section at the bottom of the overall tax rate. The school districts are the largest portion of the property tax bills. The counties have the red color, and then the county roads are black. And then if you live in Bexar County, you may also see the University Health System, San Antonio River Authority, and the college as additional taxing entities. So the tax rate, once we get the appraised values from the local county appraisers, the state has us calculate a couple of different tax rates. One is the no new revenue tax rate. That is, on average, the tax bills will remain roughly the same. So the city will raise the same amount of revenue as the previous year going with this rate. The second rate they have us calculate is the voter approval rate, which council can adopt up to without triggering an election. But if they want to, they can adopt a rate higher than that, but it'll automatically go to the voters this November. And we also have the current rate and the proposed rate the council set on August 23rd. So for this year, the no new revenue rate was 0.4526. The voter approval rate was 0.4968. And the proposed maximum tax rate council set on August 23rd was 0.4950. Now, council can lower the tax rate from 0.4950, but it cannot raise it without reissuing the public hearing notices and tax rate notices. And at this point, there would be scheduling additional council meetings to adopt that rate. Anything under that is fine without any additional notices or public hearings. The proposed rate will increase the average tax bill by $125 annually. I believe the paper mentioned a different number. It was a little confusing when it was posted in the paper, but it's $125 annually. A percentage increase of an estimated about 9.4%. So the second largest generator of revenue for the general fund is the sales taxes. Last meeting we had a request to look at the sales tax growth. We're using a 3-year rolling average. So this is what it looks like with that chart laid over the budget to actual over the past 3 years. Again, we've had slower growth from 13 through 19, but after that, sales tax really started to grow at a much accelerated pace, consistently going over what we estimated in a budget process. So the proposed budget that's before council tonight includes all of the additions from the August 23rd meeting. The general fund is $44.3 million. INS fund is $8.6 million. Water and sewer fund is $26.8 million. Capital recovery water is $44,000. Capital recovery sewer is $52,000. The drainage fund is $1.4 million. The EMS fund is $11.7 million. The EDC is $10 million. Roadway impact fee 1 is $5,000. Impact fee 2 is $55,000. Area 3 is $5,000, and Area 4 is $3,000. And the special revenue funds, the special events fund is $24,000. The PEG fund is $60,000. Hotel occupancy tax is $273,000. The park fund is $125,000. The tree mitigation is $70,000. The library fund is $22.2 thousand, and the historical committee is $11,750. So overall, the operating funds and special revenue funds combined are $103,873,315 as the total operating budget proposed for the city of Schertz. The highlights include a wage adjustment proposal. This is a one-time in lieu of merit for part-time and full-time for non-public safety. Is a 4-2-1 plan where the lowest 60% of employees would get a 4% increase. And then from 53,000 to 75,000, sorry, 55,000 to 73,000 would get a 2% increase. Anybody over 73,000 would get a 1%. In addition to that, we'll couple with an ECI, a 3%, which is an employer cost index. This basically raises the wages of all employees in the city for 3%. And both will go into effect October 1. Proposed budget also includes 24 new positions in the general fund, including 3 firefighters for Station 4, fire inspector, an engineering inspector, an engineer, an IT public safety technician, an IT GIS specialist, 3 park maintenance technicians, a Parks Recreation Coordinator, a Plans Examiner, Permit Tech, a Neighborhood Services Officer, 2 school officers requested by the school district, a traffic officer, a police record specialist, a fleet parts clerk, a part-time programming specialist for the library, converting 2 10-hour positions to 2 20-hour positions in the library, and an event attendant for event facilities, which is the Civic Center. Other programs include paving the Building 27 parking lot for vehicle storage, additional SPAM funding, which is our road maintenance program annually, internet upgrades and fiber upgrades, an e-procurement software, funding for the police records management system, the library internet hotspots program, the Celebrite system for our investigative services, replacement of body armors for the SWAT team, an emulsion tank, which is a giant oil tank for our streets crew, a communication radio program, so we have radios during events and emergencies for non-public safety folks, additional contract mowing for our parks, new and replacement public safety cameras at our buildings, additional library materials, increased contract cleaning, upgrading Manager Plus inventory and work order system for Public Works, a hard drive shredder for IT, Office 365 software training citywide, and noise mitigation tiles for the library. Also includes trail funding for parks, a skid steer with mulch head for streets, Cibolo Creek cleanup program, breaching tools and shields for police, recruitment ads and incentives to help us hire. We also had a comment or question about the current fiscal year performance. The budgeted, we are actually projected under by $2.2 million. The current estimate is about $1.7 million, so we're actually better than planned by about $500,000, and that amount was included in the proposal for this current year when we were crafting the budget. The enterprise funds, EMS, has 8 new positions proposed at a phase-in approach, as well as a mental health canine. The water and sewer fund includes utility bill text message notifications, water and sewer system modeling software, and a mobile emergency pump in case one of our stations goes down. We can keep operating in emergencies. So as far as the budget schedule, we have 2 public hearings and votes. The first one's tonight, September 6th. We'll have the first public hearing, or the public hearing on budget and tax rate, and the first vote. And next week we'll have a second vote and adoption, and those will be a public hearing as well, given the updated notice we posted last week. If there's any questions, as well as the public hearing on the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. This is on the agenda as an open public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to comment regarding this this issue? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is closed. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
I just want to thank Mr. Walters for doing the video presentation of this and putting it on the city channel. I think it's a good way to get it out there. I don't know how many people are actually watching it, but I hope they do, because it's a good way to see what's going on with our finances.
In preparation for this meeting, we looked and see if there's any comments, but we had no comments, but about 37 views as of today.
Well, it's better than we get when we have a public meeting.
More people watched this video than showed up at last year's and a couple of those public community meetings.
Well, really 36, because I watched it.
I watched it too, so maybe 35.
Okay, let's leave it at 37, okay? Council, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 22T30?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Brown, second by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 6 ayes, no objections. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on then to item number 10, ordinance number 22T31. An ordinance approving the appraisal rolls, setting the tax rate, levying and assessing general and special ad valorem taxes for the use and support of the municipal government of the City of Schertz, Texas, apportionately the levies and specific purposes, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. Mr. Walters, floor is yours.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This ordinance is the vote on the tax rate itself. Please note there is a special motion required to adopt this rate. Motion in the packet as proposed is you will adopt a tax rate of 0.4950, which is effectively a 9.4% increase in the property tax rate. If there's other motions, I can calculate whatever percentage increase we would need to say.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. Once again, this is on the agenda as a public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the council in regards to this subject? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is closed. Council floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, it seems kind of strange that I approve the budget, because I think it's a good budget. It's a little generous, but there's a lot of good opportunities in there also for future growth and development. I still have a problem with this proposed tax rate, because I think we could accomplish the items in the budget without increasing taxes by $125 per resident on average. That's my take. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, council, any other comments? There is a specific motion. Yes, Councilmember Brown.
I was just going to say I have that. I'll make the motion. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.4950, which is effectively a 9.4% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilmember Brown, second by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Nay.
We have 5 ayes, 1 objection. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Walters.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 11, a workshop discussion on the new Schertz Young Leaders Program. Ms. Schrum?
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Dr. Brown. I'm going to go ahead and kick this presentation off, and then I'm going to turn it over to our new Recreation Manager, Cassie Paddock, to give you all the details. I'm Lauren Schrum, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. As you know, we had some discussions over the last couple of years about creating a new leadership program. We ended the Schertz Sweetheart Court program last month and recognized those ladies. And we have come up with a new program plan and wanted to share that with you today before we start the new process this year. So, Schertz Young Leaders, there's our logo. The purpose is to train students in leadership techniques, community awareness. The participants will be introduced to multiple facets that make up Schertz. So local government, education, community, businesses and partners, and Randolph Air Force Base because of the contributions to the base and the connections to this community. This program is modeled after the Chamber's core leadership program as well as New Braunfels Youth Leadership. So we've not reinvented the wheel. We've kind of borrowed from those programs. They're both great programs and developed a lot of young leaders in our community. So the objectives is to select a diverse group of 12 students to start off that exhibit leadership qualities or display the initiative to enhance their community through leadership and service. We have talked about maybe expanding it to 15 to 20 in future years. I know the New Braunfels group takes up to 40 students, but for our first year, we're going to stick to 12 students. Again, the goal is to foster the development of knowledgeable citizens and future leaders of Schertz. We will have the students interact with community leaders and decision makers, and they will hopefully collaborate with community partners, or we will collaborate with community partners, to provide students with a well-rounded view of Schertz. And then I'll let Cassie go ahead and take over and talk about our partners. Thank you.
So we've been working with 2 core groups to really make the program come off the ground. The first is Operation Total Leadership with Julio Serrano. We met him through the Chamber. He's part of the MAC group there, and he's kind of our consultant that will be there each day of our programs So it's 2 hours of lesson delivery per session that he'll be doing, and he has curated participant guides and handouts for all of the students that get selected, and then he's also going to be a member of our selection committee. And then we've also been working with SCUC Independent School District. They've agreed to allow the students co-curricular excused absences for the program so that they can leave during the school day. We really wanted to make it a full day-long program and thought that the more buy-in we'd get if it was during school hours, just because students are already involved in so many extracurriculars and things on the weekend. So the school district allowing us to have those students during the day was a huge win for us there. And then they've also agreed to transport the kids to and from the program. And one of their members is also going to be on the selection committee. So eligibility, who can be a Schertz Young Leader. So it needs to be a high school student, a Schertz resident or SCUC ISD student. They are going to have to submit an application and essay to be reviewed. And then they also must get a guardian approval and a school administrator approval. Their commitment to the program, so it's 5 school day sessions followed by an evening graduation in May, and each session is going to be tailored to those topics that Lauren discussed earlier. And then they will also have to complete a project that they'll be coming up with early on in the program and attend one Schertz City Council meeting, volunteer at one event, and also attend one SCUC ISD board meeting. Candidate selection. So after tonight, we want to go ahead and open applications up next Monday and leave them open for about a month, 4 weeks. So on the 10th of October, applications would close, and then we would hope to meet with the selection committee the 11th through the 13th, and we will go over the applications that we receive and review those applications and essays with a rubric. And then on the 14th, we hope to select and notify the candidates that we choose. For the selection committee will be myself, the recreation manager, SCUC ISD representative, Amy Massey, who is the career and technical education coordinator for SCUC ISD, a city council member that is to be determined. We can discuss that during the open discussion if anybody wants to volunteer to be a part of that selection committee. Our public affairs director, Linda, and then also Julio Serrano with Operation Total Leadership. Our program schedule, so we're hoping to expand the program next year. This year, due to me coming on later in the summer and kind of gearing up and getting with the school district and all of the moving parts, we're starting in November. In the future, we want to start in probably applications be open in August and start in September, but for this year, November, we have our agenda items. So that's going to be the topic that we'll be discussing, and then there's a leadership topic that Julio will be discussing alongside that. So November, leadership and personality styles. January would be education and peak performance. February would be local government and decision making. March would be community businesses and partners and communication. And then the joint base, San Antonio, Randolph, and emotional intelligence, followed by their graduation and leadership mindset.
Thank you. Thank you. Council, floor is open for discussion. Mayor Pro Temp Hayward.
I just have one question. When you said Schertz resident or SCUC ISD, so if they're living in St. Hedwig or Selma, they can be part of this organization just because they go to the school?
That's correct, yes. When we partnered with the school district, they were very interested in opening up to the entire ISD, and so that was one of the topics we wanted to bring forward tonight to discuss. We think it's a good idea. We also are open, Schertz residents can apply, so if you live in Comal ISD and you go to Davenport High School, you can also apply. We'll work directly with your principal. Or if you go to East Central ISD, because we have some Schertz residents that go to East Central, or any of the private schools, John Paul II or Founders.
Founders.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Councilmember Dalla.
This looks pretty interesting, kind of a blend between the core leadership program that Maggie puts on with the chamber and Brenda's Mayor for a Day program with the middle school kids. So interesting to see what results we get out of it. Upon completion, is there like any kind of scholarship awards for these kids, or what are we doing once they get through this program?
Right, so they will have a graduation ceremony and be presented with a plaque or an award for graduating. It will not be tied to a scholarship automatically. The hope is that we would help create, great applicants for the Hal Baldwin Scholarship that we already have existing, and, create a great pool of candidates each year, so we don't struggle, to have people apply for that.
Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, so what's the objective? You know, what do the students get out of this? Is there some type of course or core credit they're going to take advantage of?
Not a core credit, but just another extracurricular activity, you know, based in leadership that they can add to their resume. I know that's something that college application, you know, college admissions folks look at, and it's hoping that we are going to create and foster young people to become active participants in the community in the future, right? And become board and commission members, council members in the future. That is the goal, is to create this leadership core that is active in the community.
Yeah, I was really involved with the Sweethearts when they first started, and you know, monitoring the activities of 4 or 5 kids can be a little bit challenging. What are the resource requirements going to be on the part of this city? Do you understand the time challenges and the coordination challenges, transportation, dealing with the school district? I didn't say that. It's always easy dealing with the school district. But have we considered all the extras that, I mean, it looks like a good plan. Every plan looks really, really good on paper. It's only when you start executing it that you wish you hadn't.
Well, I can say I won't wish I had started this program. I think it's going to be a great program. Yes, we've worked with the school district. Again, they're on board. They're super excited. They have 2 staff members that were committed. Also already talking about future scholarship opportunities through the school district that they could help tie into this program, so it wouldn't just be ours. There's other opportunities. But yes, it will be time intensive. The budget is still $10,000, which is what it was with the Sweetheart Court. The budget, everything we've discussed fits in that budget. Again, the school district's providing transportation, so that's taken care of. We are going to look at some additional sponsorships in the business community if they'd like to sponsor the lunch or some of the other portions, get them engaged. But as of now, we've covered the cost, and I think great confidence in Cassie and Annalise to manage this program.
Well, I'm confident. If you say it can be done, then I have no reason to doubt you. So best of luck.
Thank you.
Councilmember Whitaker.
Did you have a slide back there so other than the 5 days, so there's your 5 days where they're out of school, and then I think earlier, some other things that they're required to do, was it like attend, that one, the city council, 1 board meeting, and a class project, tour facility. So interact with community leaders, tour facilities, and complete class project. Are those things happening on those days? Okay.
They're happening in that program, yes.
Okay.
The city council meeting, the volunteer event, and the board meeting at SCUC are after.
Okay, so it's essentially 5 school days plus those 3 events. And then is there, kind of like the Sweetheart Court was in parades and more social activities, is that like just they can go to those as their volunteer event, or are there any other outside of these things that?
So we would love to invite them to participate in certain programs and events. We haven't finalized all those yet. The one that we did know we wanted to include, just because of the timeline here, was to have them out at Moving on Main in April and to have a booth and promote the program and really kind of be ambassadors at that event.
Okay.
But yes, we would definitely work them into our other events as we are able to.
Can you go back to that other slide?
Sure. You have an applicant, right? Potentially.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to have that information. Yeah. Thank you.
And we're open to anybody who would like to volunteer to be on the committee. We would like a council member on the committee. So if anybody's ready to volunteer tonight.
Okay, Mayor Pro Temp Hayward.
If no one else wants it, I will volunteer.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. You know, I don't have to have it. But we're plenty busy with our 4-H club, but if you need somebody.
I'm embracing it. However, there may be someone else that might find it more intriguing than I do. That's why I thought about it. Like Jill.
Well, I do happen to have students who I don't think would be interested in applying, although I would like to encourage them. So I have kids in age
conflicts.
Bracket, but I don't know what the time commitment is for. I don't want to take on one more thing that is.
It would just be where is that? The
If it's just staring down at them at the committee, just one day?
Yes, we'll just meet. And there's opportunities on the day in the schedule where we're doing the local government that we would love to get as many council members as possible to speak to them that day. So we'll be getting with you guys closer to that to nail down kind of presentations or talks with them.
I don't, you can do it.
So we've had a conversation down here, and Councilman Dollar will take it instead.
Okay.
Would you have your council member, Councilmember Dollar will be our representative. Council, any other comments or questions?
Yeah, if you're going to have a group of us together, just like with Ms. Brenda's council for the day or whatever, I'd love to participate in that. So put me on. Please put me down. Yeah, maybe 40 PowerPoint slides or something along that line.
And I would partake in the council when you meet with local government.
Just make sure you let the city secretary know posting for possible quorum.
All right, thank you, Ms. Schrum. Thank you, Cassie. All right, we'll move on to our roll call confirmation. Our city secretary, Ms. Dennis, will provide roll call confirmation on consent agenda items 2 through 6, discussion items 1 and 7 through 10, and also the appointment of council member Dalla for item number 11. Ms. Dennis.
One moment. Okay. Consent agenda items 2 through 6. A motion was made by Councilmember Dalla, seconded by Councilmember Brown. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. No one voted no. Motion passed 6-0. Item number, hang on. Item number 1, Resolution 22R91. Motion was made by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Councilmember Brown. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Brown voted yes. Scagliola voted no. Motion passed 5-0. I'm sorry. Motion passed 5-1. Item number 7, ordinance number 22D38. Motion was made by Councilmember Whitaker, seconded by Councilmember Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. Motion passed 6-0. Item number 8, resolution number 22R103, to name the road Cibolo Valley Drive. Motion was made by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Councilmember. Oh, we don't do that? Yeah. I'm sorry. So, motion was made by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Councilmember Scagliola. And again, it's for Resolution 22R103 to name it Cibolo Valley Drive. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward voted no. Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. Motion passed 5-1. Item number 9, ordinance number 22T30 on first reading. A motion was made by Councilmember Brown, seconded by Councilmember Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. Motion passed 6-0. Item number 10, ordinance number 22T31. The motion was that the property tax be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.4950, which is effectively a 9.4% increase in the tax rate. Motion was made by Councilmember Brown, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, and Brown voted yes. Councilmember Scagliola voted no. Motion passed 5-1. And then on item number 11, I didn't know, did we get a motion for the appointment of Councilmember Dalla to the,
No, there was no motion made.
Schertz leadership?
It was posted as a workshop, so there's no action,
Okay,
Brenda.
thank you.
Okay, we have 3 closed sessions. Item number 12, the City Council will meet in closed session in accordance with Section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code, personal matters to discuss the direction to fill the city manager's vacancy. Item number 13, the City Council will meet in closed session in accordance with Section 551.072, the Texas Governmental Code, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property for future roadway extensions, and roadway expansions. And item number 14, the City Council will meet in closed session in accordance with Section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code, personnel, to deliberate, evaluate the performance and duties of the City Secretary, Ms. Dennis. The time is 7:27. We will reconvene after our discussion. The time is now 9:04. We reconvene into a regular session after our discussion and deliberation regarding our closed session. Item number 15, in reference to agenda item number 12, the city manager vacancy, start time 7:30, end time 7:42, no action required. Item number 16, reference agenda item number 13, real property for future roadways, roadway extensions, and roadway expansions. Start time was 7:44, end time was 7:51, no action required. Was there?
Yes, sir.
We did a motion.
Yes, there is action.
That's right.
To the motion to,
Wait.
Time out. There isn't any final action though, right? We're not closing on any property, we're not signing any contracts. We have some direction, right, that was given? That's good enough. Right? You had direction?
So I think we were not planning to come back to council, that they would authorize the acquisition for...
Okay, then we will need action.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so there is a motion required for item number 16, which is reference to item number 13. And that motion is,
that we approve acquisition of said property that we approved back in July
For 3.75 mil.
at a maximum of 3.75.
okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion made by Mayor Pro Temp Hayward, second by Councilmember Dalla, to accept the maximum amount for the purchase of 3.75. All right, so we'll move on to item number 17.
After we vote.
Oh, I am so sorry. Okay, we have the motion. Let's go ahead and vote.
Aye.
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 We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. Item number 17, in reference to item number 14, the evaluation performance of our city secretary. Start time was 7:54, end time was 8:56, no action required. Roll call confirmation. Our city secretary, Ms. Dennis, will read roll call confirmation in reference to item number 16. Ms. Dennis?
A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Dalla. The motion was to approve the acquisition of said property mentioned back from July with a maximum of 3.75. I'm assuming that's million? Okay. A motion was made by Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Dalla. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Dalla, Scagliola, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. Okay, we'll move on to item number 18, the trunk or treat at the station. Information packages have been made available to the council and available for viewing at our home site, Schertz.com. So we'll continue with the further announcements by our city manager, Dr. Brown.
Nothing further, Mayor.
Any possible updates or information requested from staff? Okay. Council, any possible items you'd like to place on a future agenda item? Announcements by our council members. Mayor Pro Temp Hayward.
Yes, Mayor. Due to the sake of time last time, I did mention that I went to Austin for the all-day, 2-day policy summit for TML, and there's some issues that may come up and that we will be actually looking at and hoping some of them will drop off, but there was quite a bit that we'll have to take a look at in case it comes back up during the regular session. And I also attended the EDC meeting last week, and that is all.
Okay. Councilmember Davis.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Whitaker.
I did attend the Cisco groundbreaking event a couple weeks back, and then also Smoothie with the Chamber, last one of the summer. Very sad.
Councilmember Dalla.
Yeah, I attended the P&Z meeting as a liaison, their most recent one. Stopped by for the waffle breakfast and also the smoothie with the chamber event.
Councilmember Scagliola.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Brown.
Attended the EDC meeting as a liaison and went to the employee recognition waffle breakfast. What fun. That's all.
Okay. The time is now 9:09. We stand adjourned.